Hello everybody and welcome to the GKaiser Age. My name is Lucian GKaiser and today we're going to be taking a look at the Square Enix Bring Arts action figure of Xenogears Weltall. This is an awesome figure that I've been looking forward to, so let's get started taking a look at it. GKaiser Age launching! The Ave and Kislev nations have been fighting a grueling war for 300 years. The mainstay of their armies are gears, giant mechanical battlesuits excavated from ancient ruins. Far removed from the war, a young man named Fei lives in the peaceful village of Lahan. One day, unknown forces attack the village. During the fighting, Fei climbs into the cockpit of a mysterious gear to fend off the attackers. However, he loses control of it and accidentally lays waste to the village he had hoped to save. This battle suit, known as Weltall, is a replica of the Alpha Weltall, which was once piloted by the dreaded Graf, who gripped the world in fear. Fei's destiny moves in tandem with his gear, which, unbeknownst to him, possesses a fearsome power. All this story and more can be found in the game Xenogears. So, all that very cool information you heard me just read off is actually on the side of the box on this figure. That's one of the things that I love about the Bring Arts action figure series from Square Enix. I picked up this figure from the Ami website. They're a fantastic website for getting figures from Japan, things that you normally would have to wait a little bit longer if they are being released here in the US. So I definitely recommend picking it up from there if you definitely want to get a copy of this figure. But as you can see, Square Enix did a fantastic job with the box here. I love the artwork and everything on it. And of course it comes with this insert on the inside that you can actually use as kind of a backdrop. It's got the Xenogears X right there. But now that we're done taking a look at that, let's take a closer look at the figure itself. And I have been waiting a long time since the pre-orders opened up for this figure to get it in hand, because as a longtime fan of Xenogears, this figure is a dream come true. I always wanted an action figure of Fei's gear from the actual game itself, the Weltall, and this one is a fantastic buy. Now, it does have some issues, which I'll go over at the end of the video, but all in all, there's a lot to go over and take a look at with this figure, so let's go ahead and take a look at the poseability to start with. So as you can see, I've got it set up right now. It does come with, before I start with the poseability, several different hands. So you've got this open palm hand. Fingers like that. And then you've got a more martial arts finger hand. And they're very well detailed. I like that. The paint application on them is very good. You've got a mostly closed hand. Now the Weltall doesn't actually have any ranged weapons, aside from it being able to shoot an energy ball. So the hand really isn't designed to hold a gun. And then of course you got the flat palm hand. It's more of a martial arts mecha, and Fei's able to translate his martial arts into moves on it. Alright, but let's go ahead and start with the head, which has a very nice sculpt to it. Put that right there. As you can see, very well sculpted and nicely detailed. Now you can look up that far and then down that far. It's got a double jointed at the base of the neck and then where it attaches to the head, so you get a nice downward look. And of course you have rotation. You can do complete 360. He's a robot, so it's not going to hurt him to do a 360. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the arms. Now, once again, another complaint that I had with my Bring Arts action figure of Estinian from Final Fantasy XIV is the shoulders. Once again, you can't get the shoulder because of the shoulder pad here much higher, or the arm I should say, much higher than this because of that shoulder. So that's about the height that you can get the arm. You can't raise it up any further unless you rotate like that. So that's a little disappointing, but not a deal breaker. Yeah, I'd like it if the shoulder piece could pull out, so that way you could get it vertical without having to rotate the arm and kind of expose the ball joint and everything. But like I said, not a deal breaker. So of course you have, and everything is really tight on this figure, you got the upper arm rotation right here. Get closer on that. So you got upper arm rotation, 360. You got a nice bend. No double jointed bend on the elbow, unfortunately. Just the single joint right here, attached to the forearm. That's a little disappointing, but not too bad. And then of course the wrist. All the hands are on a ball joint. Fits in there nice and neat. So you can swivel those. Alright, the chest right here is a bend, so you can do a little bit of a crunch there. There is no crunch at the waist, unfortunately, so you only get that slight up and down at the chest there. You of course have, and the side armors do like to pop off, but they actually stay on there pretty good, and they actually are on a sliding mechanism that I'll show in a moment here. Let's go ahead and pop that back on though real quick. Boom. They don't pop off too often unless you don't think to move them out of the way first. So now you got a little bit of a waist rotation, but it is kind of limited. Now you can rotate a little bit of the upper chest, so you can get a more side to side. But for the most part, the waist rotation is limited. And then, like I was saying, with the skirts on the side, and see, it's exactly what I meant. So let's go ahead and pop that back on. But as you can see, there's a little bar right here that rotates forward and back to get it out of the way, so you don't have to worry about constantly popping it off unless you don't move it out of the way before you start posing. You can always just remove it until you're done posing the figure, and it's the same thing for the other side. So you can see it there, rotate forward, rotate back, and then of course since it's on a ball joint you can kind of rotate it out of the way. Now for the back, you have these parts. They come not attached to the back in the box. These little wing-like protrusions. They're on a small ball joint. They can't move very far, but just enough to move them kind of out of the way if you're doing certain poses with the figure. So you can do that. And then these two parts right here are also on a small ball joint themselves, but once again, their movement is limited. So just a little bit of an up and down, and that's pretty much it. Now, I know this looks kind of weird, this backpack being so huge, but in game, there's a reason for it, and I'm not going to spoil that here. But let's just say it's a very cool and very awesome reason. Alright, so now let's move on to the legs. So, We've got the legs here. And as you can see, you get a nice vertical kick forward. Not too bad. Not superb or anything, but a good enough kick forward. Got the kick back. Once again, blocked a little bit by the backpack. Now let's go ahead. You can do the side kick, which is very good. And this is how well designed the figure is balance-wise. That's without a stand. That you can do that without a stand is fantastic balance, especially with that big chunk of plastic on the backpack. Oh, and there I go, knocking that off again. So these side skirts, you have to be careful. They stay on there well enough, but if you're not careful when you're moving stuff and you push on them too hard, they will pop off. But that's just to keep them from breaking. All right, so let's go ahead. And I almost forgot to mention, upper thigh rotation there. Knee. Fortunately enough, the knee is double jointed. So without hitting the backpack part there, you can get a nice bend like that, which is great for poseability. And then on the foot side, now as you can see, the foot is nice and close, but here's a cool thing that they decided to do. You can actually extend down the ankle like that to give yourself more of a range, so you can do more side to side. You can rotate easier without catching the armor pieces here. And getting more front and back bend. The toes do not bend or move out of place, so those are steady. All right, so that is it pretty much for poseability of the figure, but it is exceptionally poseable, which is great, because that means you can do all kinds of crazy martial arts poses with it, which I love. Now let's talk about the other accessories. More feet. Now when I got this, I didn't understand why there were two sets of feet. They look exactly the same. There's nothing different about the design of them. And then I figured out, because it comes with these feet attached, and these feet are made out of plastic, but the feet that come in the packaging that aren't attached to the figure, they're actually die cast and they're weighted. And that's one of the best ideas for a posable figure I've ever seen, because what that does is you can have, say, the other foot be the plastic lighter weight one and have the base foot be the heavyweight foot, and use that to help balance out the figure when you're posing it with any kind of kick or anything. And with the weight of both of the feet being the weighted feet, it can hold stances better because the weight is all focused on the feet, keeping it grounded very well. And I absolutely love that. I wish more figures had that ability to have that, to be able to swap out feet like that. Because I have some figures where I feel like if it was weighted at the feet, you would have a better quality figure that would be able to stand without having to use a stand like this that this figure actually comes with. So it comes with this stand, and it comes with an extra prong for it, but I haven't had to use it. I honestly have not had to use it because the figure stands so well by itself because of the weighted feet. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up with, unfortunately, the bad points of this figure. Let's start with this part as an example. So this foot, it's nice and solid, no problems with it. This foot right here though, yeah, there are some quality control issues, to say the least, with my figure. So there's a peg hole, as you can see, in the bottom of this foot that I'm pretty sure there should be a peg on this base of the foot right here that should be plugging into it to help hold it, but there's nothing. I'm tempted to use a little bit of a low end, well, you know, not low end, but you know, a high quality but low impact model glue that will help to stick it together without melting the plastic, hopefully. I'm going to try just a small bit of it just to see how well it works. But that's one of the issues I have. The other issue I have are these parts back here. They're steady for the most part, except for this one. This one keeps popping off every once in a while when I'm maneuvering the figure. Once again, not a deal breaker. A little bit of model glue, as long as it's safe model glue, should keep that in place. The side skirts, that's just, you know, me not being careful enough. The other problem I have quality control wise is this hand here. So this particular hand and some of the other ones, the ball joint peg is loose. So sometimes the ball joint, I managed to get this one stuck back together and it seems to be holding up well, but on some of the hands, like this one right here, the ball joint keeps popping out. So when I try and pull the hand free from the socket, the ball joint stays in there, the hand comes free. So this is going to be another one. I'm going to try just a small, very small dab of model glue just to see how well it holds up. But I'm going to try the foot first, because worst case scenario with the foot, I have a spare foot, so that's not going to impact it. But all in all, still, I definitely would still recommend this figure. You can still find it on Ami's website. I definitely recommend checking them out. They're a great website for ordering any kind of anime figures from Japan. And every time you order from them, you get a really cool card like this one in the package. I love these. I've been collecting all of them ever since I started ordering from them. They're fantastic for pre-orders because for most pre-orders, you don't actually have to pay for it ahead of time. You can just pre-order and then pay when it's ready to be shipped, and they give you a few days to make sure that your payment method is still valid, which is something else I appreciate. But once again, I want to thank you all for joining me here in the GKaiser age. If you like what you see here, definitely let me know in the comments section below. Tell me what you loved about Xenogears if you played it when you were young, or if you're interested in seeing a playthrough of it. I do have a Twitch channel. I might actually stream myself playing some Xenogears one day. But right now, you'll see me streaming some other games and anime games as well. Definitely leave a like and a favorite, and of course subscribe to my channel if you aren't subscribed already and you want to see more content like this. Definitely check out my Twitter and my Twitch again, and also check out my Facebook page for the GKaiser age so you can see all the updates and everything that I'm getting involved in. Once again, my name is Lucian GKaiser, signing out until the next Xenogears battle.